Today I'm going to show you how I made this simple phone stand out of some scrap wood that was pretty bowed. If you guys saw my previous video where I made 3 napkin holders, this was actually originally going to be one of those napkin holders, the mountain one in fact. Unfortunately, when I did a rip cut on a piece of walnut, the pieces bowed a lot because all that moisture was let go. I tried to put it back to how it was by, soaking one side and clamping it overnight, but it just wouldn't go back. So I said, you know what, let's turn it into something else, and that's where this all kind of came from. Now this is a continuation of a little series I'm doing where I'm getting a bunch of things made for a Christmas market that's coming up. If you want to check out episode 1, I'll make sure to include the link in the description and top left corner. So after cutting the width down to a suitable size for a phone, I also cut the actual length of one of them down. I just didn't record it. But what I'm doing here is I'm going to start cutting the slots so that they can kind of slot into each other. When it came to size, I kind of just used my phone as a reference, but I will leave a link down below for some plans I'm going to make up. They're completely free, but they're not going to be very detailed. It's going to be a 3D model with some reference measurements for you, and of course feel free to copy this one. Now I'm going to be brutally honest with you, this was all just kind of off the top of my head. I didn't really plan any of this out. Sometimes I would just hold my phone up and see if it would work. Like in this instance, I'm just trying to chisel it out because I didn't really have a plan on how I'm going to get this extra little piece out. So the chisel ended up working. It did take a little bit of extra effort, but it definitely got it done. Now with that done, it's time to start transferring that same but opposite onto the other piece so they can click into each other. Not really click, more just slide. So I'm just kind of getting like a rough idea of the height that I want it to be. Again, this was all kind of just off the top of my head, but I did use a square here just to make sure that it's the same on either side. Now I haven't really promoted this, but if you guys have any suggestions for things that you may want me to build or try to build, make sure to leave it down in the comments, or I also have a link to my forum down below where you can submit video ideas. And if I end up using your suggestion, you'll get a shout out. Now in this case, instead of using a chisel to knock this out, I'm just going back and forth and basically making a dado with the table saw and the crosscut sled. And it looks like everything's fitting well, so we can go ahead and start on the other side. Now, as I mentioned, these pieces were pretty bowed, and honestly, whether you put them in whichever way, it was still really strong, but I wanted it to have like the slope. I don't know. I think you can kind of understand the way that I'd want it, and you can see in this video how bowed it actually was. So I added this little line that I thought could be, oh, it looks like a design, but it also is a feature to tell them what side goes down so that it can be the same every time. But unfortunately, I was just kind of going off the cuff with a lot of this, and I cut a little bit too far on the top one, so I just decided to carry that all the way through, and then instead I'll show you what I did to fix that problem of what side goes down. Now to try to solve that problem of knowing what is top and what is bottom for the actual back piece, or what's front and what's back, I'm going to go ahead and add some slight angles on the bottom. I wasn't planning on this originally because it was honestly fine, but now I said, you know what, might as well do it. I'm going to add some slight angles on the bottom of these pieces so that it sits nice and flat on a tabletop or whatever it's sitting on. And so I just have my blade set at an angle, and I'm using my miter gauge to kind of go across and get that nicely angled. And I just kept trying a little bit more until it sat flat, kept testing in between, but I will leave in the plans down below exactly what degree they are right now. For the support piece, it was going to be too sharp of an angle for my table saw, so I used the fence and kind of cut it using less of an angle, but more with the piece vertical instead of sitting flat. Well, that's kind of the final product. It's actually really strong. I'm going to go ahead and skip sanding and finish, so let's look at the final results. And make sure to watch to the end because I'll show you the bow from a side angle. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to check out part 1, make sure to click on the video on screen now and subscribe for the upcoming episodes.